In my humble opinion, I believe some of the participants were not seeking a mutually agreeable process, but rather an opportunity to continue the status quo, keep some of our outspoken citizens at bay, and to derail any potential for meaningful reforms. Washington Township citizens will continue to be unjustly enriched at our expense, and you will be forced to continue to pay more than your fair share of the cost of running our high school district. I have every intention of participating in any future meetings. However, I will request that the other members of the governing bodies and the public be allowed to attend and participate so that we can have a meaningful outcome. And at this point, I'd like to open it up for discussion amongst the Township Committee members and the public. But first, I'll start with the Township Committee. And I'd like to start with Mr. Krieg, because I believe, Mr. Krieg, you were the one that said that we should participate in this study?
Well, yes, I think we should. And my reasons are, from what I've read in the paper, and I've had some conversation with some of the other mayors that were there, the feeling I had is we had worked on all the other studies. We were looking to separate the district, hoping to separate the district and thus save ourselves taxes, which I think is laudable and would be my first desire. But having tried to do this now for, well, I've been on the committee 9 years, and it goes back several years before I was here, we've gotten nowhere. I think what they're trying to do with this study is to find other ways to work the formula around and work the process around that possibly could save us money, but not separate the district. So my feeling is a study of this type is a different type of study than the READY grant that had been done in the past by the state, which was basically, they came out and said, since Washington Township would never vote to separate the district, it's a moot question, why bother? You know, and that is basically where we've been since that READY grant was published about 10 years ago. I don't think there has been I'm not aware of a study that's been done since that one by a qualified independent source. So things have changed in the 10 years, attitudes have changed in the 10 years, populations have changed in 10 years, and totally, our residents have changed a lot in the last 10 years. So I think a study looking at it from a different perspective, not from the perspective of separating the district, but trying to get more equality in the quality of education and in our tax rates, is what I would like to see come from it. And I think by walking away from it, we are basically saying, I'm sorry, you're not doing it the way we want, so we're not going to play the game. I think we can get more accomplished by working from the inside and working cooperatively with the other towns than this way. Right now, the other towns, and I've talked to several mayors from the other towns, feel that we've walked away from them and we have left them, to the point that I was told the superintendent of schools received a phone call from our mayor stating that he would not have part with any more mayoral meetings, that there would be no more mayoral meetings. And I think that is wrong. I think we have to work with the superintendent of schools. I think all the mayors have to work together with him in order to make it happen. Now, I've been told this by reliable sources, that you made that phone call, Mayor, and I just, I don't think that's the way we're going to get cooperation. We have to get cooperation, we have to work together as a team. If we're going to work to try to separate and try to bully our way through, it's not going to be successful. That's my point. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Krieg. To the point of my conversation with the K-8 superintendent.
No, this is the high school superintendent.
The high school superintendent?
Yes, you called him on July 4th at home.
No, he called me.
No, that's not the way I heard.
And that's not what we discussed.
Okay.
So, but let me just add to that. At the end of the meeting, there was no discussion to continue or hold another meeting. We did not discuss ever meeting again, or anyone taking hold of the study, Mr. Krieg. So, just so you know, and my conversation with Dr. D. Batista was on a different matter than that. So, Mr. Burke.
Wow. Mr. Mayor, I have a couple of questions, if you don't mind. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but was there any prior notice to you regarding this meeting that there was an intent to authorize a study, or was this something that occurred only during the meeting?
If you look through the notes, it said that there may be a possibility that once we develop a plan, we might have to do a study, but there was no prearranged notion or discussion about doing a study.
Thank you. Second question I have, actually, it's just an observation. I was looking at that chart called Primary Concerns, and I note that of the 5 mayors, you're the only one who checked off that you were concerned about quality of education, specifically as a primary concern. So it would seem to me that this study, which you have not signed on to, and the other 4 have signed on to, would not be about primarily quality of education.
I believe that the other mayor said that they had no issues with the quality of education, but publicly I think they say they want to study the quality of education, which I'm not sure which way they are. I think that it was a flip-flop.
I would also observe, as I said, I'm looking at the agenda and the purpose of the meeting. The thing I find interesting is, again, the arriving at a mutually agreeable process. I would presume that's a consensus thing where everybody has to pretty much agree. And what kind of troubles me is, and again, I'm not interested in flinging rocks or anything, but if the objective was a mutually agreeable process, the subsequent events to which you did not consent would appear to bear out that that was not the case.
Exactly, I said we circumvented the objectives of that meeting.
And I think I had one final observation, which I can't find, so I won't belabor the point. I just have to say, I am somewhat concerned that there may have been an agenda here that was not fully disclosed starting out, and I am troubled by that because I think when the mayors agree to meet, that there has to be good faith on all parts and a willingness to really listen to what the other people have, and obviously you want to listen to what everybody has to say. But I know, notwithstanding the fact that the population may have changed here in the last 10 years, there's been a consistent message, and the consistent message that I've heard from a lot of people is that they're not happy with the current funding formula and the way it's working. And honestly, my experience in the legislature is that studies often were used to maintain status quos as opposed to trying to actually solve problems. It is possible to study things to death. I'm not opposed to a study where a study is warranted and where it's justified. On the other hand, this issue has been hanging around for many, many years, and I am concerned with the fact that I'm concerned with the fact that we're still not addressing the problem itself, and I think studying it again is not going to solve the problem. Thank you.
We'll take a minute for a tape change.
That was Lois.
Thank you, Mr. Merker. Are we ready, Pat? Mrs. Thomas?
It's a shame that they're looking to beat a dead horse, so to speak, because it hasn't worked. These studies have not been helpful in the past, and to throw good money after bad, I think, is a sin. And they should. It's sad. But I think we, the taxpayers, need to go to the state for help to rework this formula. Our hands are somewhat tied. So there's obviously a large group of public all four towns who should get together and go to the state and ask for their help, because that's really where we need to go. It can't come from us. We have no control over the schools. And you know, attitudes may have changed, but the bottom line is we still pay way too much. We still pay way more than Washington Township, and it's not fair to our taxpayers. Our school keeps dropping in its ranks, and so I have concern about the quality. But bottom line, to start off with, I think we need to go. I think the taxpayers need to go to the state for their help.